Are you looking for the best monitors for Xbox Series X? In this video we will look at some of the best monitors for Xbox Series X. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Dell Alienware AW3225QF. The Dell Alienware AW3225QF is the best monitor for Xbox Series X that we've tested. It's a fantastic gaming display with remarkable picture quality. Although the Xbox Series X can't take full advantage of the monitor's 240Hz refresh rate, it still delivers an incredible gaming experience at 120Hz with crisp motion handling. It works well with the Xbox thanks to its HDMI 2.1 bandwidth, as it supports 4K signals up to 120Hz, but this monitor doesn't support 1440p at 120Hz. If you prefer playing at a lower resolution to maintain higher frame rates, the Gigabyte Acer FO32U2P is a good alternative that has the same QD-OLED panel and supports 1440p at 120Hz signals from the Xbox, but it costs more than the Dell. On the plus side, the Dell delivers exceptional picture quality. It displays perfect blacks next to highlights, which is great for gaming in a dark room. It also makes those highlights truly pop and displays vivid colors in HDR. Its 32-inch screen provides enough screen space for an immersive feel, and its wide viewing angles are ideal if you need to share the screen with a friend next to you for a co-op gaming session. Number 2. Samsung Odyssey Neo G7S32BG75. If you don't need such a high-end monitor and prefer saving money, check out the Samsung Odyssey Neo G7S32BG75. It has a 32-inch, 4K screen like the Dell Alienware AW3225QF, delivering detailed images, but it doesn't have the same outstanding picture quality as it lacks an OLED panel with deep and inky blacks. It doesn't have the same near-instantaneous response time for outstanding motion handling either, but that's the trade-off if you don't want the best overall option. That said, it still has a great response time at 120Hz and 60Hz, so motion is sharp, and it can take full advantage of the Xbox thanks to its HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. It also delivers good picture quality as it has high contrast and a mini LED local dimming feature, so there isn't much blooming around bright objects. It even gets bright enough to fight glare if you want to use it in a bright room. Quantum matrix technology. Revolutionary quantum matrix technology with quantum mini LEDs creates controlled brightness and perfect contrast for refined definition. Local dimming zones were increased to 1196 and combined with the highest 12-bit black levels to create unmatched picture quality. Mounting type: wall mount. Size 100x100. Aspect ratio 16:9. Power supply: AC 100-240V. Operation conditions: temperature 10 to 40 degrees Celsius, humidity 10-80, non-condensing percent. DisplayPort 1EA. Refresh rate. Optimizer: yes. Number 3. Acer Nitro 15275KP3 BiPros. If you find the Samsung Odyssey Neo G7S32BG75 still too much out of your price range, a mid-range option like the Acer Nitro 15275KP3 BiPros is an excellent, less expensive alternative. Although it has worse native contrast than the Samsung, it still displays deep blacks next to bright highlights with HDR content, thanks to its mini LED full-array local dimming. Luckily, it still gets very bright in HDR, so highlights pop and colors look vivid. Similar to the Samsung model, this monitor has sharp motion handling with its fast response time at any refresh rate. It supports VRR with the Xbox for a smooth feel while gaming and can display a 4K at 120Hz image, thanks to its HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. However, it has a high input lag at 60Hz, so you'll need to make sure to set the Xbox to 120Hz in the console's settings to get low input lag. 27-inch UHD, 3840 by 2160, widescreen IPS gaming monitor, adaptive sync technology, FreeSync compatible. Refresh rate, 60Hz, response time, 4 milliseconds, G to G, pixel pitch, 0.155 mm. VESA mounting compliant, 100 by 100 mm, zero frame design, 2 speakers, 2 watts per speaker. Ergonomic tilt, -5 degrees to 15 degrees. Number 4. AOC Q27G3XMN. If you want the best Xbox Series X monitor and are on a budget, consider the AOC Q27G3XMN. It has a lower resolution than the Acer Nitro 15275KP3 Bipros, so games look less detailed, but this monitor still has excellent image quality. It displays vivid, rich colors in HDR, and it gets bright enough for highlights to pop. If you game in a darkroom, you may actually prefer the AOC over the Acer as its contrast is much better, as it displays deep blacks next to bright highlights, even without local dimming. The AOC has a fast response time, but unlike the Acer, there's black smearing that results in dark trails behind fast-moving objects. It has a lower input lag at 60 Hz than the Acer, which is great for playing reaction-based games. One downside is that it doesn't support HDMI 2.1 bandwidth, so the max refresh rate with downscaled 4K HDR signals is 60 Hz. You'll need to game in SDR if you want a higher refresh rate, but this is expected for a low-cost monitor. Number 5. Dell G2724D. If you don't have much to spend on a monitor for your Xbox Series X, then the Dell G2724D is a great choice, which you can get for cheap directly from Dell's website. It's a step down from the AOC Q27G3XMN, with the main trade-off being that it has worse image quality as it doesn't have mini LED backlighting. Its HDR colors look far less vivid and rich, and blacks look gray in a darkroom. It also doesn't get bright enough for highlights to pop, but that's what you have to expect for a cheap monitor. On the plus side, it still works well for gaming with the Xbox, as besides lacking HDMI 2.1 bandwidth, it doesn't have compatibility issues with the console, and it can downscale a 4K at 60 Hz signal for HDR. Fast-moving objects look fairly crisp, and this monitor supports VRR for a smooth gaming experience. It also doesn't have an audio output, so if you want to use speakers, you'll need to use an HDMI audio extractor or connect speakers directly to your Xbox controller. VISA Display HDR 400 with 99% sRGB color coverage and built-in TUV certified hardware low blue light solution. Versatile connectivity with desktop PCs and game consoles. Included USB Type-C to DP cable maximizes connected gaming laptop performance. Fluid, tear-free gameplay with AMD FreeSync Premium, NVIDIA G-Sync compatible, and VISA Adaptive Sync.